7 weeks ago today, I was in a ski accident and I broke my left tibia. I had open reduction internal fixation surgery, that's a huge mouthful, and got an intramedullary nail in my leg, which is pretty much just a rod that goes through the bone. You can see a photo here, and a bunch of nails that are kind of nailed through your bone to keep the bone and the rod attached. So I had that surgery and I was scouring the internet looking for other people who had gone through a similar kind of thing, and I wasn't able to find that much, so I thought I would post this video. So pretty much after I had the accident, I went down the mountain on one of those sleds. Luckily, I was toward the bottom because the sled is both embarrassing and really excruciatingly painful when your leg is broken. And I went to the hospital and they told me I was going to need surgery. I actually never got to see my x-rays, so that was a bummer. I wish I could have seen what the break looked like. But I went into surgery. The surgery was actually fine. I didn't feel like I was in tons of pain after. This is a photo of me after the surgery, and it's really not my best look. I had been skiing and then broke my leg and had been in the hospital for a lot of hours, so I was kind of like out of it, and I think I was on a lot of pain medication at that point. So, but my memory of it is, it was fine. Wasn't horribly painful. Came out, wasn't in tons of pain. In some pain, obviously. I just had surgery, but it really wasn't that bad. And the next day, they just, they wrapped me in an ace bandage. They gave me an air boot, showed me how to put it on, take it off, and then they made me kind of crutch around, go up some stairs, go down some stairs. I had to take my pants on and off to show that I could. So did some things like that, and once I passed all of their tests, they discharged me from the hospital. So I remember the first week as really not being all that painful, but every photo I have of myself from that first week is horrible. I'll show you a couple of them here. I did a lot of sitting in bed and eating. I was able to get up, go to the living room, hang out with the dog, and then I did my first outing to a dog park during my first week, so that was fun. Got to sit in the sun and see the dog run around. One thing that was really useful that we did in that first week is get a stool for my shower and then a shower head that was removable so that I could sit on the stool and take a shower pretty easily, and that was really nice to be able to be independent in that way pretty quickly. I also have a partner who was really great and cooked for me and brought me food and whatnot, so I think it would be possible to manage on your own, but it would be really challenging. Week 2 was a lot harder and honestly was pretty terrible. I had worked a 20-hour week in my first week out of surgery without a huge problem. But then in my second week, I had to deal with health insurance and finding a doctor for my 2-week post-op appointment, since I didn't get the surgery where I lived, and that was terrible and bureaucratic hell. So no photos from that week. My 2-week post-op was fine. They showed me the x-ray, so it was my first time seeing kind of what my leg looked like, and here it is. It's pretty broken, so that was a little distressing, but, I asked the doctor if I could potentially hike 20 miles 2 or 3 days in a row by July, and he said that was definitely a possibility. So that was, uplifting, and he told me come back in 4 weeks for your 6-week post-op, and so the next, 4 weeks after that were kind of really in anticipation of this post-op. Also worth mentioning, at my 2-week post-op, they took out my stitches. I don't have a photo of my full leg with the stitches, but here's me in my boot, and you can kind of see the smallest incision at top with the stitches. And I was really, really afraid, more afraid than I had been of surgery. to get the stitches out, but it really wasn't that bad. They took them out, and I was pretty concerned about like getting an infection at that point, so I was trying to really keep them like covered. They put this tape over them, and I didn't take the tape off for like 2 weeks. Some of them fell off, but I tried to take like a lot of showers and make sure I washed them well, and so that's it. So the next 2 weeks after the post-op were pretty good. Things definitely started improving. I was able to regain a little bit more normalcy in my life. I started going back to work, and I was able to drag a chair up and just put my leg up. So I was still working from home a little bit, but getting more back into the swing of things. And then I also started going out and being social. All of the photos and videos that I take out are at dog parks, so it looks like that's all that I do. And I do really love my dog, and I do spend a lot of time at the dog park, but I also went out for dinner, and I went out with friends to like movies and, restaurants, whatever. So that was pretty cool. And then here are some photos. These are photos of my leg at week 3. So this is the 3-week anniversary. And you can see there's still some of that tape from the 2-week post-op. And then also there's quite a bit of bruising. And also can't really shave that much when you've got a broken leg. So my leg's a little hairy, sorry. And then this photo is from week 4, so this is a week after that. So not tons of improvement, but some, and my leg actually looks pretty normal considering that I had, pretty major surgery on it. So the next 2 weeks went by pretty quickly, and I was starting to feel quite a bit better. In week 5, I really wanted to try and walk, but I knew I shouldn't try and do that because you should follow the doctor's orders, so I didn't, but I was feeling it. I was feeling ready to go, and I had been really looking forward to this appointment because I felt like 6 weeks was the mark everyone was talking about, and it was like, oh, it's 6 weeks, you can start trying to walk, and you can start exercising, and I kind of felt like I was going to have more control, or I was going to kind of gain some normalcy back. I also hadn't been eating sugar or drinking much alcohol up to that point because I read that both of them could prevent bone growth, and I was really trying to heal myself as much as possible. And I don't really know if that was necessary, by the way. When I talked to the doctor about it, he was like, whatever, drink all you want. So, might not be worth it, but I did. And I went to the 6-week post-op, and the way that your bone heals is that it grows a callus, and that callus hardens, and then eventually kind of becomes new bone. And I knew that the x-ray wasn't going to look substantially different than my 2-week x-ray, but I figured it would be like cloudier or something, I don't know. But when I saw my 6-week x-ray, it was really depressing because it looks like I made pretty much zero progress. But I know that that's not true, and the doctor said everything seemed fine. And, it was pretty exciting to kind of get the go-ahead to start putting weight on. And that day, I went to physical therapy for the first time, and I took my first steps, obviously very much aided with the crutches, and I also went out and drank a lot and had some desserts because I hadn't been doing much of that. And I, have been really, it's been very interesting. It's cool because now that I'm past the 6 week and I'm up to 7 weeks, I can try. So I can go to physical therapy, I can do all my exercises, I can put in all this effort, and I can start kind of walking on it. So now I'm walking on it, with the aid of my crutches and putting a decent amount of weight. But also, I was kind of hoping, or in my mind, maybe the 6 weeks was like this magic, boom, everything's gonna be better at 6 weeks, and it's kind of not. Learning to walk again is a slow process. So I think I'm getting really close now at the 7-week mark, and I'm hoping that this week I'm gonna take my first crutch-free steps, but we'll have to see. And, you know, I've just been doing all my exercises, and I can get around a lot more easily now. I can walk. It feels almost like a normal walk, except for that I need crutches still. And, yeah, so hopefully things will improve a lot with more physical therapy. And, you know, if you have any kind of similar experience, or you have a broken tibia or tib fib, or another broken bone, and you want to share your experience, please feel free to leave something in the comments or to contact me. And hopefully this was helpful.